Welcome back everyone to Let's Talk Games, the show where we talk about games. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing the indie amazing game, DREDGE. For those who don't know, DREDGE is a Lovecraftian style fishing adventure game, where the main objective is finding out the deep-rooted secret in the Marrows. And of course fishing. Now, I'm no professional critic, although I play one on TV, but this is one of the best games to come out in recent years, and I'm not even talking about just indie games. Everything DREDGE does, it does well. The sailing mechanics are really nice, the catching the fish minigames are fantastic, and you'll be surprised that it changes up quite a lot, and the art style of the game is really pleasant, when you're not being chased by deadly creatures. And something that I failed to actually mention so far is, the game is actually a horror game. It's designed to spook you and scare you. At least it does at the start. Most of your encounters when you come into something new will be quite scary because you don't know how to navigate it, you don't know what it does, or how it moves in the water, so you kind of, you have that fear level when you don't really know what's happening. But of course, as you progress, you get better at dodging creatures, you get better at navigating through fog and stuff like that, and that's when the game actually truly starts to shine. You see, usually horror games lose their appeal once you've got used to the spook. That's why people try to use jump scares and stuff, which is why I think that's such a cheap way of doing horror. But this game is fantastic because even once you've learned how to kind of navigate what lurks below, you still have to deal with it. It's still an ever-living presence within that world. So it doesn't just go away because you've been like, oh, that's what it is. It's still out there. And I will say, you don't learn quick. The game likes to throw curveballs at you. So when you think you might have a handle on things, boom, something new. Ah, spooky, now I'm dead. Game ruined, right? Wrong. That's when you get back out in the sea and you catch more fish. It's also very important to know that the game has two endings. A good one, well, okay, I won't spoil anything. A good one and a bad one. And because of how the game's set up, you can get both of them relatively quickly between each other, so it doesn't kind of punish you for going down one route in case you hate that ending. Okay, so we've talked about some of the game, some of the mechanics, who it's by, da-da-da-da-da. Now it's time for the pros and cons, the easiest way to determine whether or not you should get a game. So, let's dive into the pros first. The first pro of the game is that all the mechanics are fantastic. As I mentioned before, sailing your boat feels nice, the water and how the kind of boat splashes against it is cool, dodging in and out of kind of rocky areas feels nice, especially when you get the handle of it, power-ups and stuff feel good, and how you customize your boat is also really in-depth. And I will also say, this is a bit of a cheat because we're kind of reviewing the main game, but there is a big update coming out for the game, which includes ship customization. That's not in the game right now, but it is coming, so keep that in mind. Pro number 2, the cost of the game. Especially for how long of the game you get, I would say is pretty worth it. It's quite fortunate that indie titles always come out because they come out at such a good price. I paid £20, that's 20 UK money. I don't know what that is in everyone else, but you can, 20 British pounds is what the game cost me. And lastly, on the main pro list, is the art style of the game. The water kind of reminded me of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker water, which I kind of love. That's, one of my favorite game styles, but nothing else kind of fits that genre. There's a bit of cell shading, and then there looks like there's a bit of hand-drawn art. It's a really good mix, especially the character designs when you're talking to everyone. For a lot of the surrounding scenery, it's kind of 3D stuff, but when you're talking to the characters, they're all kind of hand-drawn, and they look fantastic. And now it's time for the con list. That's right, this game has cons. Kind of, it depends what you're looking for. Okay, so, the first con is how long the game actually takes to complete. So, I have platinumed the game. On PlayStation, it now tells you how long you've put into a game, down at the bottom right. So, I have put 12 hours into the game, and I have managed to do every single thing you can do in the game. So caught all the fish, done all the story, both endings, done all side quests, that sort of thing, and it took me about 12 hours, although I did like sailing around and just finding stuff, so it might take other people less time. So I'll say, considering the kind of main point of the game is to do everything, I'm going to say 12 hours roughly is how long the game takes. Mind you, that's everything, not story. I think story could be done in just a few hours. It's not super in-depth, so story can probably be, done in that amount of time. And speaking of story, I know stories in cons, don't worry, there's kind of a reason. It's not that it's a bad story, so, let me speak. Yeah, story in the cons list. I really enjoyed the story right up until the end, and spoiler alert for anyone watching, there is a twist ending. I don't know how much that ruins for you, but there is, and I felt like it could have been done better, or been led up more. I wish there was more to the story, is what I'm saying. I really loved it, and I really enjoyed the game, and I would have easily put in, another 10 hours into this game, just for story, because it was so interesting constantly, so that's why it's in cons. I would have liked some more. And finally, unfortunately, my biggest gripe with the game is that I didn't truly feel anything towards the main character. I wish he had more kind of speaking lines, or done some more things that would have made us like him and get behind him, so that the ending was a bit more of a shock, regardless of what ending you have. I just think that there was not enough time to kind of really get to know him, or get to know who he was as we were playing him. There is stuff to kind of talk about, previously, and, backstory and stuff, but we don't get a lot of stuff, while we are him. So I would have liked a bit more of that. I'm not sure how you would have integrated it, but that would have been cool. And, for the cons list, that wasn't so bad, right? The game is still pretty fantastic, despite my own little, So yeah, there we have it. My first ever review, reviewing Dredge on the PS5. Thank you again, Blacks Out Games, for making it. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed, but we have one thing left to do. This amazing wheel next to me will give a nice letter grade, or egg, based on how well it done. So, let's spin that wheel and see where it lands. A tier! Congratulations, Dredge. That's fantastic. And thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much. This was my first ever review, so it was kind of nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun. I hope to do some more reviews soon. I actually have a list of games I want to review, and I'm not talking just new games. I want to kind of go back and review some others. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!